On Louisiana, I just want to point out that oil and gas is a part of Louisiana's heritage and history. It's been there from the very beginning. It's part of Louisiana. I want to put a few facts into the room that are rarely ever spoken about. I want to just point out for one thing about oil in the Gulf. There are natural seeps well documented by the U.S. government that range between 560,000 to 1.4 million barrels a year naturally seep into the Gulf of Mexico. It's an ecosystem that is used to oil. Oil on water is not something new. I grew up in Mississippi. I swam in the beaches there, and I know oil comes into those beaches. But I continue to be puzzled by these assertions about something called Corexit, which is the dispersant that was put on oil, because this has been the U.S. Coast Guard approved product. I disagree completely that it is the most toxic one on the list. It is effectively, everything to a degree has toxicity, and the toxicity of Corexit is about the same as dish soap, which is effectively what it is and how it works. During the Gulf, alternatives were suggested. They were tested. They were found to be endocrine disruptors, which means they would disrupt the reproductive life cycle of shrimp and the biosystems there. That's why we didn't want to use it, and neither did the EPA or the Coast Guard. And Corexit is still used. It's not an Exxon product. It is the U.S. government's recommended product. It's still used. And I absolutely believe that what was the best thing that was to happen is to have dispersant put on oil rather than having large black oil waves wash onto the beaches. That would have been horrific. And effectively what dispersants does, it surrounds the small little droplets of oil, creates a larger surface area, and the bacteria that eats what naturally seeps into the Gulf is what this does. And I think I haven't seen anything to say anything other than in hindsight, no one believes that that was the wrong thing, and it would have been much worse without the use of it. To use Corexit? No, I do not.
Actually,
well, I said I have not seen a single study of people who have studied it scientifically, deeply, that would look back and say that dispersant should not have been used. I do not believe anybody with almost common sense that would say waves of black oil washing into the marshes and the beaches would have been a better thing under any circumstances. Now, the emotive words of people that are ill, the $8.3 billion settlement that we worked out last February does in fact have categories for medical things. And all I can say is you need to take those claims forward in the processes that have been put together, because that's what we reached long sessions and negotiations, and have preserved money for those kinds of claims. And you'll have to work through the processes and the facilities that are set up to apply for those claims.
All right. So now we, in interest of time and the meeting and for all of you that are patiently here, I will now only allow one question per person and no statements. If we can stick to that, I think we can go through a handful of more questions. If not, I'll have to cut it short and move on to second resolution. But please now, Station B.